Yes, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Bit of housekeeping. Obviously, we had a bit of a mare with the last episode. I'm assuming break episode's out by now. So, apologies for that. But you got the audio, so you got the wisdom and the knowledge. So, all good. But yeah, to everyone who's watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, leave a comment, leave a like. Instagram, obviously, you know where we're at, Amen Brother Podcast. Give us a follow, drop us a message, drop us guest topics, anything you'd like us to talk about. Spotify listeners, leave us a rating. And yeah, let's get into it. Patreon, wow.
Come and join the Patreon family.
The most important one.
I thought that's what you were actually up to.
For a second, I was like, shit, am I going to make this out?
Most important one, Patreon. Get involved. We've actually got loads of episodes to post.
Yeah,
there,
we've
got content coming.
Yeah, there's actually, obviously, once you subscribe, you get
all
access
the old
to all the episodes that are only available on Patreon as well. It's
get access to the group chat. Get access to the group chat. Obviously, get access to us. So yeah. Come join the fun. But anyway, let's get into the episode. You would have seen from the title who we've got on today. I would say one of drum and bass's genuine good guys. Anyone that's met him will say the same thing. He's also got a ridiculously good voice. Soulful. The soulful god. Man like Javeon. Well, Javeon, I always do that. I always do that.
Javeon, you built me up and then you kicked me off the
Shut
cliff.
you down.
Yeah.
That's karma for all the digs he had at me before we started filming.
I was picking you up as well. Man like Javeon. You know what it was? Because I looked down at the thing and I read it out in my mind.
It's all good.
It's funny that
And the thing is, I always remember your voice. It's like Raven with a J.
Raven I was just about to say
I know.
that.
I literally know that as well. That's terrible. Anyway.
It's all good.
Thanks for coming down, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
How's the trip down?
Trip was alright, but before we get into that, the Patreon plug. I'm a fan of the podcast, and that's a regular thing that tends to happen. Patreon is the last sort of plug that tends to happen, usually because it's Rich or someone else reminding you.
We always forget.
So it's
You
funny
always
to be
forget.
here.
Yeah, I always forget. I'm so Instagram coded, I just forget about Patreon. Yeah. Thanks for the reminder, man. But yeah, good to have you, man.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me up here, man.
I think safe to say, maybe Rich is the only person you haven't done a track with, but me and Jack obviously worked with you on several projects, so maybe we've got to make that happen.
We've definitely got.
We've spoken about it a few times, didn't we? Yeah.
We definitely have. We've got to make that happen, 100%.
Yeah, man, I'm down fully. Who's going to produce it?
We've got two producers sitting in the room, to be fair.
Yeah, in the room. Don't want to put the pressure on.
No pressure.
You know.
It'll end up a collab with you three.
We'll kick Rich off. But yeah, thanks for coming down, man. When you've listened to the podcast, you probably know how these sort of things go. We like to delve into kind of our guests' histories, get a bit of context, how they got to the point they're at today.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't think it's actually something I know a fair bit about the projects and what you did before drum and bass, but I think for anyone listening, anyone's kind of new to you, let's go all the way back to when you first, maybe even before you maybe first recorded your first bar. Like, what was your kind of entry into the musical world? Like, what was it like growing up? Like, what were the influences? Let's talk about all of that.
All right. This is a thick story.
We're here. That's a podcast. Let's go.
So when I was quite young, like I'm talking primary school age, are we going that far back?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Right,
Let's do
okay,
it.
cool. When I was like primary school age, my mum used to work in a place that was like 2-3 miles away from where my primary school was. So my nan used to sort of look after me, my sister, my 3 cousins, one of which was like 7 years older than us. And he actually used to live at my nan's house. And he was well into sound systems. I'm talking about those ones that you see at Carnival. Mini versions of that, but overkill for being in the house.
Cabinets, big speakers. Yeah.
So this is in the 90s, right? So he was building speakers as well. This was the first introduction that I had to R&B music, rap music, and then also British music, right? So there was speed garage, jungle. Didn't really understand what it was at the time, but I knew it was British music. And
this is in Bristol as well.
This is in Bristol,
okay.
yeah. Stone's throw away from my primary school. So every day I'd go to school, come back, and then just get this education of music from the States to the UK. And then when I left primary school, I went to a different school, which was about 3 miles away, closer to where I actually lived, far away from all of my friends. and it was really, really different, you know. And it took some getting used to. I had to kind of find out who I was. That was the good thing about it, actually, because the secondary school that all my friends went to, they went with a load of people that they grew up with. So there are all these rules when you grow up, especially like in the States and stuff, and you're in a community, you live in a community, go to school in a community. There are these rules, you know, some of them were silly, some of them, you know, are, you know, great that we still live our lives by. But I was in a school where I kind of didn't have to follow any of these rules. Therefore, I got to kind of experiment a little bit more, do things that maybe wouldn't have been seen as being cool by some of my peers. So I got to I was exposed to different types of music, like rock, and all the different types of rock, basically, and just doing loads of experimenting throughout school. I was like enter talent shows, and I know if I went to the same schools that my friend went to, I would have got clowned hard. Yeah. So I took the opportunity. I was very aware, and it was great. I won a couple, which is great. Big up.
Nice.
And then just sort of going towards the end of school, I was in a crew with a few friends that I went to primary school with, one being Joker.
I was wondering when the Joker link was going to come in. Yeah. That's mad though. So like from early.
15. I met him when I was 15.
Yeah.
But there's a MC from Bristol called Bugsy.
Mad.
Yeah. So he was like, we used to say that we're cousins because he's the cousin of my nan's late husband.
Right. You're basically family.
Yeah, exactly. So
Sick.
we were pretty tight, and he actually brought me in. So we had a crew called Cold Hearted Crew, right? And it was me, him, and Devious, who's Ronnie Size's son.
Yeah.
And a few other people, and then, you know, once the word got around, we were like solid crew. There was 25 of us. It was just music. It was just the music crew.
Yeah.
Just the music
No
crew.
illicit activities.
Exactly.
Just music.
Yeah.
Mad names in there, man. That's sick.
And then...
So you were MCing at this point?
I started MC. I was a singer to start with.
Yeah. So the talent show was more singing.
Yeah, it's more singing. But as, you know, the influence of grime started to come in, started going from garage to grime.
Yeah, like early 2000s type. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Obviously, there was like R&G, but it wasn't really that melodic. So I was really influenced by all of my friends. I was the only singer. So I was like, I felt I'm going to write some bars.
Yeah.
You know? So I started writing bars more and started to learn that craft a lot more. And because I was in the secondary school, that allowed me to explore different avenues. I started joining I started doing like guest vocals on like a rock set. Like my friends had a rock band. I go and spit some bars on it.
Like and that would have probably been around the time that Jay-Z Linkin Park did that link up as well.
It was 100% around that time. Yeah. They were looking at me like, bro, you're Jay-Z. And I'm like, bro, you're Linkin Park. Let's do this.
That's jokes.
So that was really, really cool. But it was great because I learned that I was just very curious. It wasn't that I wasn't great. I wasn't good at all. I was just a fan of music and getting better. You know what I mean? So I just kept going, and I was incrementally getting better at what I was doing. And then when I left secondary school, I went to a music. Sorry, when I stayed on for sixth form, but then when I left in about 2006, going into 7, I went to a music college called Access to Music. BIM is the university strand of that whole thing, and I joined a couple of different bands. The first band that I joined while I was in that was a guy that I knew of, and he went to a school called Cotton that was fairly central, and he was a singer, I was a singer. And then we always used to sort of record in the same spaces together. And he was like, yo, I got this live band full of jazz musicians, but they're soulful as hell. And, you know, we do that kind of hip hop, R&B kind of thing. Do you want to get involved? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I joined this band as a backing singer. So I was doing harmonies. I wasn't great at harmonies, but I was just happy to be involved.
Yeah.
So this guy was actually, his name's Jacob Anderson. He was Grey Worm in Game of Thrones.
Oh, you know what? I did hear he did music. Yeah. 'Cause I thought Riley Ritchie's his artist name.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Riley Ritchie,
Sick,
yeah.
mate. The names are just flying out at the moment. Yeah, man.
So he was in the sequel to Kidulthood.
Kidulthood.
Yeah. So when it was popping off for him, basically he just couldn't do the band anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, it's my band now. So I was making a lot of electronic music with a producer called Guido. If you're, you know, tuned into 2007, 8, 9, 10 dubstep, probably be aware of the Purple Trinity. Yeah, Joker, Jemmy, and Guido.
Yeah.
Guido was one of them. I used to go to his house when I was at school every single weekend, because we were just learning. I remember we went to a music conference up here in Wembley. I think it was in Wembley Stadium, and he won a copy of, I think it was Ableton or something like that. And we took it back to his house, and then we just started going in. Like, he was learning, I was learning. Every week we did we did several mixtapes together, and it was just like boot camp. It was great.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I had this grime world. I had this experimental rock thing that I kept sort of going as well. I had the hip hop, the R&B thing, but also this fusion with Guido that I was doing. It was very electronic. It was R&B, but it was electronic. It was dubstep. It was grime. It was a mad mixture of sounds, you know. And sort of as dubstep started to sort of creep in, I was doing the band thing a lot more as well. So I was doing that alongside of it. I was doing a lot of different clubs in Bristol. I did Glastonbury in 2008. That was my first time going to Glasgow. I think that was the year Jay-Z headlined, I think.
Oh, when he did the Oasis thing.
Yeah. I was watching that. I was like, this is mad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, why is he wearing a trench coat?
I remember that very well.
Yeah. So that was great. It was mad because it was the first time I camped in a tent, and like I was having experiences that none of my peers were really having.
Yeah.
Just because I was always pushing the boat out.
Branched out.
And I was curious. I remained curious, you know. I was like, I don't know where this is going to go, but, you know, it'll be fun, if anything.
Can I just say,
keeping your options like open, really, and just.
Can I just say, you've already dropped about 10 gems, life lessons, like already. By the way, for anyone that's listening, make sure you're locked into this. Yeah,
I'm not really a name dropper, but that's my history.
Right,
there's a lot of names in there as well. That's mad.
And that's only up to 2008. So, yeah, what was the name of your like? Yeah, well, I mean, drop a few names of the bands. What were the bands called? You didn't say what the band names were.
Yeah. So the jazz fusion sort of band was called Root Elevation, and my name back then was Shads. So it was Shads and a Root Elevation band. So they were playing songs that me and Guido made.
Yeah.
So it was like a really musical version of our early
electronic
stuff that we were doing, and it was just crazy for me to hear it in that light. It was the first time, because up until that point I've been in other bands or backing singers, or I was in the crew, but I was an MC or I was a singer, and not even the best one in there. I'll be honest, you know. So this was the first time that I was front and center, and I was actually able to see what I could do to a dance, you know what I mean?
And that's who you went to Glastonbury with?
That's who I went to Glastonbury with. Yeah. And then around that time, as I started to realize that I was really interested in that band sort of stuff, you know, with the jazz musicians, I naturally kind of veered away from the, you know, like the rock collaborations. I mean, that was cool, but it wasn't entirely my bag.
Started to figure out what your direction was. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I started to whittle it down a little bit, even though I was a little bit still all over the place. And then it got to a point where we were playing the same circuit after Glastonbury. It was like we're going back playing the same circuit, not really for much money at all. Sometimes for no money, sometimes for a tiny bit of money. There were about 5 of us, and then the drummer turned to me and he said, "Shads, we're playing your music. So the band's only going to be as well-known or reputable as you are." So I was like, say less. So I was like, right, let's put this band on hold. So I went to Guido. I was like, listen, I need PA tracks, right? I need PA tracks of all the tunes that we're doing. Then I went around town into all of the venues that were playing like dubstep or hip hop or whatever, because I did all of it, right? And then I hit people up, and then I started doing songs, and I was really becoming more integrated into the Bristol live music scene.
Yeah. What were some of the venues back then that you were playing at?
Yeah, there was one called the Red Room, which is on the waterfront, next to the watershed. There was the Golden Lion still. There was the Louisiana, Thekla, Motion as well, because as dubstep was becoming like at its like peak at that point, where it was less dubby and becoming more sort of, hard hitting.
Yeah, it's kind of almost crossing into that. Not quite bro step, but it was getting towards that.
It was.
If you're talking like 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
it was starting to veer towards that. Yeah.
So I met a guy called Coast.
With a K.
Yeah, with a K.
Yeah.
Bad man.
Yeah, bad boy.
He's still about. So at that time, we're talking 2009, 10 times. And I remember speaking to him. We were always very friendly, and I said to him, he was the top host for dubstep at that time. He was doing all of the big shows, Trinity, Motion, Thekla, like all of like Basement 45, all of the big shows that were like just selling out. And I said to him, I was like, "You're always hosting for all of these big DJs and stuff. Like, do you ever just be like, yo, I'm an MC, like let's do a tune?" And he's like, "Nah." And I'm like, that's my way in.
Yeah.
So I grinded so hard, and I became one of the. I got a reputation for being a good host, just because I learned that you just can't spit 1 million bars an hour all night.
Rich, any comments there?
That wasn't a dig.
I mean, you know my thoughts on that, and that's not what I do anyway.
No.
So there's a happy
I wasn't
medium.
saying that's what you do, but I was just interested because we've spoken about this whole MC hosting so many times.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it depends on where you put it across, because it's the balance, isn't it? Really, that's the key.
Absolutely.
Because it's not like I'm sitting here wanting to hear someone spit the entire set, but I do like it when it's more bar heavy because I'm a barrer.
100.
But yeah,
But
the way in, and especially with like dubstep, I think that's what stood it maybe like a bit different from grime, especially early on, was the fact that people loved the room in dubstep. There's so much space, so they didn't really want it filled with bars. It's like that's like, if you think about the early like rappers that I think about, like Coast, Toast, Crazy D, like these are people that ain't spitting many bars like on sets, and it's because I think people enjoyed the room in dubstep and the space that it gave them, like especially the people that were like into D&B and then were like, oh, this is something that's actually quite unique, quite different, a little bit slower paced, a little bit more chill.
I think in a live environment, 100%. I think also, when we saw that kind of bridging of like the 140 grime MC going, oh, dubstep's 140, and it's sick.
Yeah, it's a different ball game now.
Yeah, in terms of like getting in studios, everybody was like, more of this, please.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
But
and I do think it works really
100%.
well.
I remember when I think it was P Money linked up with Scream on a tune.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the tune was called.
Or was it not Scream remixed?
Remix the Left the Room.
Left the
That
Room
was
by
it.
P Money.
Yeah. That was to me the first time I really saw. For me, that's the first time I saw the two.
New Year's.
Oh, yeah.
Apartment, yeah. Screw me. Sorry. Speaking of 140 like live hosting sets. I was in Malta and I got to watch Breakage do a 140
with,
set with SP
D-double.
D-double,
Right.
yeah. I
Oh my
that. I was,
God.
Yeah.
I was so gutted.
Were they going B2B as well?
Yeah, back to back. Like, it was literally like
yeah.
16 and 32 bars a pop. Like,
Yeah, that would have been
between-
crazy.
Mate, it was
That would have been crazy.
I want to cry.
hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
Yeah, I
bruv.
see that video.
And
I
then
was like, oh man, that
and
she
it's
must
just
have
like
been in
fucking
his element.
Stamina and Shy FX just stood on the wings, just like taking the whole thing in. It was a sick hour, man. It was wicked.
Crazy.
Highlight of the whole weekend. But anyway, sorry, go carry on.
No, that's fine. I think going off of what you were saying, Rich, I think like it depends. Like there's space for it on a lot of these genres where there are MCs or any really. It just depends on the MC. You know, like you're a host, you understand, where you can spray the bars and where you don't need to. Dubstep. Yeah, it's one of those ones where people want to hear that they're here for the music, but they welcome the bars as well.
Yeah,
if it's well placed,
It's actually true. Yeah, I think it's almost more appreciated actually than drum and bass, really, in the modern day for sure. I think what you were saying is interesting because you clearly realised there was like a bit of a gap in the market.
Yeah.
So I used to do a lot of dubstep stuff as well. I remember Crazy D coming up to me and being like, "Rah, you're sick," and you like spit like with a nice like not like grime flow, that like sort of not even half time because it's dubstep, but
More like
that
a
sort
UK
of-
rap flow, isn't it?
Yeah, like UK rap flow rather than the grime one. And he actually like bigged me up, but then I got so consumed with like drum and bass stuff at the time that I sort of actually let it go. But like you got to identify these key things, and I think you're clearly very like in that time you're kind of sort of insinuating you saw like a way in and you were like, I'm taking it, I know what I need to do, you knew the assignment basically, which is just smart because at the end of the day we're MCs, the DJ, this is the life you lead, really. You're always going to have to rely on someone else unless you're going to bust on stage a cappella, or DJ for yourself, which is what a lot of us are doing now.
Which was mad because I didn't have a lot of those moments where I'm like, I'm learning, I'm like studying the game, and this is what I'm doing. It felt really natural at that point. And it worked, it worked at that point. So I kept that same way of like hustling. Around that time, I became a resident host for Run when they moved from a tiny club called Native. I think it was like probably like 100 capacity, probably less than that. And then they teamed up with the Blast guys and then brought Run to Motion.
Motion, yeah.
And I was it was me and Coast. We were the resident hosts of the Tunnel Room. We did
Tunnel Room's bad.
hours. We did 6 hours every single month, and it was mad. And it was crazy because I understood at the time, like it was hard because I'll do a hard day's work and then come to Motion, go home, have food, have a little nap, and then go back. And I knew that it was building to something.
Yeah.
I knew that I was getting something out of this. I was learning to be a better host. I was learning resilience. I was learning the game. I was meeting a lot of people as well. And then there was one time, I remember I was working at Levi's on Park Street in Bristol, if anyone knows Bristol. And I was supposed to be seeing my girlfriend at the time. It was a Friday night. And this was around the same sort of time, right? It was like, I think these times, it was 2010, so the same sort of time. And then I finished work, and then we must have had an argument. And then I didn't see her that night, and Joker called me up. He goes, "Yo, I'm playing Sheffield tonight. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to come."
Yeah.
He pulls
This
up
when you
to
had the
my house.
R8 as well.
Yeah, this is before the R8.
Before the R8.
Yeah, before the R8.
okay.
Yeah, just before the R8. And then we went to Sheffield, and we pulled up to like the sound check, and I met this guy called Elvis 1990, and we got chatting. And
Elvis night. Yeah, I thought you said Elvis. Yeah. Bad boy producer, man. Bad boy producer,
He had a label called Night Slugs with Bok.
Yeah, bad boy label as well.
And we got chatting, and I just told him what I did and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I host, I'm a singer as well. And then he starts playing his set. Me and Joker are chilling, and there's this guy, I think he was the promoter, he was running around, sprinting around the room, and I was like, yo, Jokes, what's my man doing? And he's running around, like, talking to people. He's like, have you seen this person? Like, that's what it looks like he's saying.
Yeah.
And then he locks eyes with me, and he comes over, he goes, there you are, you're the guy. I'm like, walk on. And he goes, you host, right? I'm like, yeah. So Elvis has asked you to come and host for him. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went up, just did what I did, and then it was really good. We gelled really well, and he was like, yeah, really enjoyed that. I gave him my details, saying like, yeah, I'm a singer as well. Long story short, after that, I became his resident host.
Nice.
We did a tune together, and then his manager at the time was an A&R at... I always get this wrong. It's not. I think it was Polydor actually, but he left to start his own label, and Island Records gave him his own label.
Nice.
And he heard the tune that me and Elvis done because it was going down pretty well. Everyone was really liking it. This was the first tune that I actually successfully made, where I wasn't crazy out of tune, and people actually wanted to play a tune that I was on.
Yeah.
So I remember meeting his manager, and Elvis was making an album at the time. So we did a load of, but just before that we were doing a load of stuff. I was going around Europe with him, and I went from playing like to 100 people to 1,000 people every single week, which was crazy. And then he started making an album. It was the first signing of this label. It's called PMR Records. And then Elvis was like, yo, I'm making this album. I want to go to New York. Do you want to come? I'm like, yo.
Man, this popped off so like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was that point. It was that point. If I never went to Sheffield that night,
on a random one because you had an
it
argument
wouldn't
with your
happen in that
missus.
way. Exactly.
Yeah, this is crazy, man.
So I remember the night before I went to, I was working, and then I went to the pub and I got battered. and I was like, I had this moment of clarity. I was like, I'm going to New York tomorrow and I haven't packed. So I like immediately just like went home, packed, and then got on the airplane, and I was just like really, really nervous. So I was like, I don't know if I can deliver. Like I sing, but I'm not really a disciplined singer in that way, and I'm going specifically to write an album with this guy.
Yeah.
And
Was it a mad studio as well, was it?
It wasn't like a mad studio, but it was like a mad studio space.
Yeah.
With this guy called Nick Hook, who was in a electronic group at the time called Cubic Zirconia. They also used to release on Night Slugs. And then Elvis's manager flew out as well. And then we were on a rooftop. It was like some movie stuff, man. He was like, yo, I rate what you do. I want to sign you to my label. I want to be your manager. And I was like, in New York on a rooftop. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So it was crazy. So that was the start of the next chapter for me. And when I got back from New York, he introduced me to, he was like, I want to introduce you to Matt. A guy called Matt. He's making tunes in Bristol. He's making a name for himself. Like, oh, okay, cool. Matt's Julio Bashmore.
This is getting a bit mad.
Yeah. I'm only realizing this as I'm saying it.
Right,
actually.
You just back to New York. Did you do the album and stuff?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm skipping things.
There's a couple bits that I wanted to pause you on there.
Yeah. Like, so what happened like before you came back? If you can just fill that in before the Julio Bashmore.
Yeah, sure. So we stayed there, and we just smashed out a load of tunes for the album, like just like demos, like it wasn't the final thing at all. So we just smashed out a load of demos, and we did this remix for Cassius.
Yeah,
right.
Did that? What was that one big tune? That Scream also did a remix of, I think.
I Love You So.
There we go. That's the one.
That was the remix that we did a remix of that one as well.
Sick.
Yeah. So it was on the same EP,
sick.
Basically. So we just redid it. I wrote lyrics to.
It's like a vocal remix with
vocal remix.
Sick.
Yeah. And it completely sounded completely different to the original. And what are they called? Fader magazine.
Yeah.
So they came with their cameras and they filmed the whole thing. So it was on YouTube now. Like,
crazy.
You can see us in New York recording the tune. They made it obviously look like they were there for the creation of the the tune. So yeah, we did that. And at this time, I'm just taking it as it comes. I don't understand what any of this stuff.
How old are you at this point as well?
At this point, I am 22.
Wow.
I'm 22.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. But at that point, I was grinding. I was always a grinder.
Well, I was gonna say like it's funny. Obviously, you described this moment of like, you know, just so happened you had an argument with your missus, went to Sheffield, but from the previous 10 years that you gave us, you know, this is what it culminated in, right? Because it's not like it was obviously one like serendipitous moment that kind of triggered the next stage, but you'd done all this crazy stuff for so long. You
manifested that with spreading the net very, very wide. Like it seems like from like a really young age, and you use the word curious a lot when you were talking about early on, and it's like actually, I don't know, that actually really resonated because it's like that's as really, you know, you're like, if you're curious about something, you're interested in it, which means you're going to like naturally put effort into it, be creative with it. It's like a really. I found that really interesting the way you like spoke about that, and I feel like that's what paid dividends. And your curiosity really is the reason that you ended up in these situations, which you know is the reason for all these like little sort of successes along the way you're speaking about, and which some of them are mad. You have dropped more names than anyone who's come on our podcast in the space of like half an hour.
I'd also say as well, like, there's something to be said about like, you know, some people have this like end goal in their mind from very early age, which I think is a good thing as well because it gives you one thing to focus on. You're basically the opposite of that, it sounds like. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like I'm quite similar. Like when me and Tom started GLXY, there was no end goal. There was just, we like making music, let's see where it goes. But I guess the key thing is you need to be receptive and ready to accept opportunities when they come your way, which is sounds like almost at every corner you had an opportunity present itself to you and you took it.
Yeah, because there was a lot of time in between that I glazed over, you know, that, you know, a lot of times where I just wasn't ready for it. And that's why I remained curious, because like I enjoyed getting better because I knew I was always getting better. You know, if I just work harder than the people that are naturally gifted, you know, then I'll get somewhere. If I don't, I would have enjoyed it. It's fine, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was one thing that I just found. I thought, do you know what? Like, even if I don't make it, I would have looked back and said I had a really good time. You know?
And anyway, like, it'd be interesting to if you can kind of almost try and get back into your younger self's mindset at that point as well. Like, when these crazier and crazier things are happening, like, are you thinking this is it, or are you thinking like this is just the next thing? Like, I don't know if you can remember what your thoughts were at the time.
The thing is with me, and like everybody really, the goalpost always moves. Right? So with me, someone asked me this question the other day, like, what was the one thing that clicked and made you think, yeah, music is this is the journey I want to go on? It's not like that for me. It was just like every new thing that comes, I'm like, I just go into almost like hibernation mode on it because I need to learn about it. And I need to rise to the occasion, and I need to do it justice, you know? So I know we'll get into this, but it was the same when I came into drum and bass. I didn't just want to be another singer on tunes, you know? I didn't want to just come in and disrespect the genre and not do any research at all. You know, I listened to a load of podcasts when I came in as well, just to try and understand a lot more, because I've been around drum and bass my whole life, but I didn't really have that entry point. We'll
get onto that.
We'll get onto that.
Yeah. So Julio Bashmore.
So Julio Bashmore, for people that don't, so for people of a certain age, like I think our age basically, I was at uni when Battle for Middle U came out, and it had everyone in the chokehold, man. Like, he did two tunes, and there was like two massive tunes.
What's the real big one? I used to play it.
Osev, It was that and Battle for Middle U. Them two tunes like had. I was at Leicester Uni. Leicester Uni in the chokehold, bruv. Every club you were in, every house night, that tune was getting battered.
And Julio Bashmore is such. I really enjoyed spending time. We spent a lot of time together. He's the most chill human being you'll ever meet. Like super, super chill. And he's just really, really nice. Like, and even throughout all of like his success, he always preferred the small room thing and just wanted to play. It's almost like he, I don't want to speak for him, but it's almost like he wanted to stay small room, but he was big room. You know what I mean?
Like the biggest room at one point. Like,
the biggest room.
Yeah.
So we met. We met. we got on like a house on fire, and at the time I was working at, like I said before, I was working at Levi's on Park Street. So now this is 2011. I signed my deal with PMR, and Matt Julio Bashmore had his studio around the corner from where I work. So I'd go there on my days off, and I'd also go on my lunch break and go to his studio. And we made a song called Father Father that went out on a label called Future Boogie, a Bristol-based label. One half of the people who run it was a guy called Dave Harvey, who runs Team Love, who does Love Saves the Day Forwards Festival.
Nice.
Silver Haze in Glasgow now. And then we just kept making tunes. We even made a Christmas tune, bro. Like, we linked up on Christmas Eve. I made a Christmas. I'll play it to you after. Like, we made a Christmas tune. Like, we were just friends.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
making loads of tunes. And we made a tune. Went round to his house, and he had a 808 machine, right? And he just got on it. And I'm used to making tunes with melody first. And he just got on the 808 machine, and he's just banging it. And I'm like, do this melody, do that. And this is the first time I've actually like got involved in production.
Yeah.
And then we made a tune that was mainly just 808s, and a synth that was like an arpeggiated synth. And I just made like an R&B tune over it, had like an 8-bar rap, and it just tied everything in, all my influences, R&B, like the electronic dance floor sort of side of things that I sort of came up through, and also the hip hop as well. And I remember the first time sending it to my managers and label, they lost it. And I didn't understand it because it was just a tune that I just liked. And before I knew it, like the tune was just, it was on Radio 1. Annie Mac was playing it, Nick Grimshaw was playing it. Like all of the electronic house dons were playing it as well. And it was an R&B tune, bro. It was 100 BPM. It was 100 BPM, and you got these guys that are playing 128, playing these tunes, and just like, I don't know. I was used to being the background guy, you know what I mean? Like I described before. And at this point, I'm having my moment, and I'm being invited to Radio 1 to have interviews and stuff. Having shoots for Dazed and Confused magazine, and like it was just weird, bruv. It was really weird. Things just started to like move, and I was in this London world. I wasn't in Bristol anymore. Like I didn't move up here.
But you're here a lot.
That's what I was saying before. Like I was up here like 3 to 4 times a week, just in sessions, and also just doing radio and press and all of that kind of stuff. And on this label, it's still really small. Is me, another name, me, Jesse Ware, Julio Bashmore, like later on Disclosure.
Yeah, man.
It was a really small. Yeah, it was a small label. Yeah, just a small label.
Tiny label.
Yeah. You know.
Oh my day.
Yeah.
The fuck. Oh.
Yeah. So it was like, even though like all throughout all of that stuff, like it was like there was a part of me that kind of felt like, being completely honest, that kind of felt a little left behind, because everybody that was on that label had their thing. They knew their thing. And even though I got the closest that I ever got before to bringing all of my influences into sort of one sound, you know, Julio Bashmore couldn't be my producer. You know what I mean? Because he was blown up. I needed to keep exploring. So I hadn't found my thing. So time went on, and then house became a lot more prevalent, and the blog sort of era, like with Frank Ocean and The Weeknd, that was starting to shift out of it as well. And then we're getting closer towards 2013, 14, and I met M&EK, and we did a tune. We did one tune together, and he heard my tune Love Without a Heart that I did with Julio Bashmore, and he loved it. And then we got in the studio. We did a couple sessions, and then my management was just like, let's just block out a week. And I was like, cool. Blocked out a week, and then one of the first tunes we did was a tune called Love Song. And it was mad. It was like I was just coming out of a 7-year relationship, and going into another one, and the song was about not wanting to get in a relationship with the person who I actually got into a relationship with. It was mad. Anyway.
These things happen when you're songwriting, innit?
It does. And that was the lead song, so I kind of had another little bit of a buzz after that.
Yeah.
Again, the whole radio run, Mr. Jam was playing my tunes all the time, which was great. Zane Lowe, you gave me like hottest record in the world, which was mad. I was writing with Jimmy Napes, who writes all of Disclosure's tunes and stuff. And then I went on tour with Ella Eyre. We went on like an 8-day tour, UK tour, and I had a random call from my management. I had a random call from Clean Bandits management. They would do a tune with me, but it was I didn't write it. So M&EK wrote like a.
Yeah, he's quite a mad songwriter, isn't he? M&EK. He's written for loads of people, isn't he?
Yeah. Becky Hill works with him quite a lot.
Yeah.
He's written for like mad people, though, isn't he? I know.
Bro, he had a publishing deal when he's 14 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like it was crazy.
Yeah,
bro. I've never been in the studio with somebody like him before.
Yeah.
Right? I'll explain what it was like getting in with him. Right. Be in the studio. He opens up Logic, and then he's just writing these notes, right? It's just almost like he's copying, like he's got a blueprint. He's just writing these notes, these bass notes. He's not playing anything. He's just writing in all of the notes,
like
the melody, everything.
Yeah.
Just doing that. And before I've even got the chance to write one word, he's got like half the tune done. And he's contributing to the melodies, and he's writing more than I'm writing. I'm like, I don't even need to be in this room.
It's like Harry Bryson times 10.
Bro, is it?
Just on fire.
Yeah.
You need to rein them in sometimes.
Yeah.
Give us all a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some times where I was just like, all right, can just wait a minute.
Wait a sec.
Wait.
Go outside for a bit.
Yeah. I just want to write something.
That's mad.
Yeah, so, and then I ended up going on tour with Clean Bandit after doing a tune with them, and that's on their first album. So I was about 5 dates. And we did, I think I did around that time, I did IB for Rocks as well, and Mallorca Rocks around that time as well. And yeah, so that was kind of like the end of that sort of era before I went into songwriting. I don't know if you want me to just keep going. Or...
Bro, I mean, I'm enjoying just listening, bro. Every now and then we have a podcast where it's just like, I'll just listen, man.
Yeah.
It's honestly like, it's crazy. I guess, I feel like it feels like you're coming to the end of that chapter. I guess before we move on to like the next chapter, I mean, did you ever, I guess this would be the time where like imposter syndrome maybe would be it's most prevalent, right? Because you're in the room with like serious dons at this point. Yeah. How did you kind of like hold yourself together at that point? Because I don't know, I feel like I'd struggle there at that point.
I did struggle, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I think I was at that point again where I felt like when I was going to New York again, where I felt like, you know, I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not fine-tuned enough. That's what it was like, because these people are having serious sessions with some serious people every single week, and I'm in there, you know, taking a little bit longer to get to the point. Sometimes I'm not having a songwriter, and I was like there was a large time, probably for about a year, where I was just like, I was finding it really difficult to write tunes.
Yeah.
Like, temporarily going back after I wrote that tune with Julio Bashful, Love Without a Heart, I found it so difficult because I wrote that song on my own, and then I found it so difficult to write something as good as that.
It's the pressure, innit, man?
It was the pressure, man.
Yeah.
Because you know when, like, before you have all of this, like, you get into a community or a scene, right? You just like, you've got nothing to kind of compare things to. So you're just writing, you're getting excited, you're gassing yourself up. But then once other people and other influences and other A&Rs start getting involved and stuff like that, it just muddies the waters, you know, and just gets in your head, and you just can't be that free, like, spirited, young, creative anymore.
And are you getting, it's interesting you mentioned the A&R thing, because I've always struggled with the idea of A&R from people who aren't music people. And I imagine in that world, there's a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not just like, it's not just one person's opinion, it's multiple people's opinions at that point.
Absolutely.
And I guess you're probably getting quite a lot of ideas batted back as well. And are they giving you good feedback, or is it like just not this one, not this one? Like what was that feedback process like?
I mean, my management and label, like they were everything. They were the A&Rs as well. So I guess they had all of the skills. But yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't disheartening, like not this one, not this one. It was like, yeah, that's good. It's good. It was encouraging all the way.
Okay.
But I knew when I had a good one.
Yeah.
Because they call me straight away.
Yeah.
And they'd start a conversation like, yo, what the fuck is this? So when you don't get that, you're like,
You know what they're saying. Yeah.
Oh my
To be honest,
God.
that's actually, from the stories I've heard from other people, that actually sounds like a fairly positive.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely heard horror stories of like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that actually sounds like, in the grand scheme of things, that sounds fairly positive actually. And I guess it's weird from just thinking from a producer's point of view. The reason I said that is because A&R, when you're a producer, you probably more want like technical feedback.
Yeah.
I guess as a singer and a songwriter, what's the feedback you're looking for? Because yeah, for us, I guess like, if we're gonna get A&R, we want it to be on like, from a creative standpoint. I don't know, producers are weird, I think. Like for me, I'd rather someone who was like really knew what they're talking about, like from a technical point of view, said fix the mix in like this frequency range or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I don't know, what are you looking for as a singer songwriter in terms of
things that I feel a little bit vulnerable about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That maybe I'm not, maybe I'm a little bit self-conscious about, like, maybe is the melodies good enough? Is the songwriting good enough? Does my voice sound good enough?
Yeah.
Is it polished enough? Does it, or does it sound fine in this rough state? You know what I mean? That is actually in. So I want the feedback around how I sound and the lyrical sort of sides of things as well.
Yeah.
But I do understand that not everybody is that way inclined.
Yeah.
It's like, does this sonically tickle the boxes?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And that's what a lot of A&Rs are looking for. Does this sonically tickle the boxes? Before they've even asked me, what's the tune about? Don't care. It sounds great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas I'm a lyricist, you know what I mean? So that like the concept is everything more than whether it sonically ticks all the boxes for me.
Yeah.
But I understand the world that I was in at that point, you know. So yeah, it was difficult. There was a lot of really, really good moments, especially when I did start opening up to songwriting, because I said to my manager straight away, I'm writing everything. I don't want someone to write my songs for me or write with me. But then when I warmed up to that idea, I realized how good it was to bounce back and forth. And when I was actually in with good songwriters, I was like, yo, this is great.
And also I feel like, it's a very different world to the world we come from, because I think every big artist has like 20 songwriters, man.
Yeah.
Even the people we think like, even like your Kendrick Lamar's, Beyonce's, whatever, they've all got loads of songwriters, right? So it's not even like a taboo thing at that point.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you asked a producer like, who's your ghost producer, that'd be like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That
Red flag.
Yeah, that'd be like the big difference, right? So yeah, it is interesting. I've always thought that like the songwriting thing is like a real respected skill in that world. And MNEK being one of the best as well. Go on, Rich.
No, I was going to say, I think it's like what you said about having that bounce back, and also they'd call you when, like, I can't remember the word you used was, but when they just knew that like all the aesthetic boxes were ticked, and it had potential to be a banger in a sort of maybe like, well, much more commercial sphere than what we're working in now, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the difference fundamentally, is like you're in a different world at that point. And like it's interesting to hear how that works, because it's just kind of alien to, I think, that's what you've alluded to. It's alien
it's so
to what we do.
Yeah.
It's like I can't imagine going in and like, unless I'm like with another MC running a drum and bass tune, it's like because it's a vocalist perspective as well. It's like, I'm not trying to make this sort of aesthetically pleasing for the masses. We're all like a bit stubborn and sort of staunch in our ways, just being like, we're just going to do what we want to do, and if someone likes it, they like it, kind of thing. And that's kind of like the way that it runs, isn't it? Really, I mean, that's not going to fly in that world.
It did sound like you had a bit of freedom though, right?
Yeah,
it did sound like you actually had a bit of freedom.
I did have quite a lot of freedom.
It sounded like more than most, like you said.
Yeah, that's what I was quite surprised to hear. Like, it did sound like you had like,
it was a good setup, because it wasn't like like I think if I was directly signed like by Island Records and I had
Be a different
A&R
ballgame.
in a suit, you know what I mean? Like I think it would be different. Whereas it was their label. Obviously they had to deliver.
Yeah.
You know, to I guess keep being funded, but they had a lot of creative control. They had all the creative control, and therefore I guess when they were building it up in the early days, they didn't 100% know what it was. When Disclosure came along and then the whole scene sort of changed, it was a lot more obvious what things
was gonna work, yeah.
what was going to work. So it did start to become a little bit like that. But in the first sort of like 3 years, it wasn't like
Almost like it was an indie label, basically.
yeah. It was a big indie label. To start with, and also as well, it was like I'm in London. I'm still lived in Bristol, but I'm not in the Bristol scene anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Almost outgrown it in a way.
Yeah, I'm in London, and like I still have obviously lots of love for my people back home. But there was a time where, like, when I made that transition to doing more London stuff, so I'm going back and forth a lot now. But there was times where, like, I had tunes coming out with people, and my management was like, "Yo, let's just make this clean cut. You start this, like." You don't want to. You're just about to sign this deal with Island Records. Like that was actually the words. You've got a record deal with Island Records. Like just like cut and start something brand new.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm 22 years old. I'm like, all right then. And I had to have some really difficult conversations with friends. Most people were all right about it, but I fell out with some people as well, you know? And I think that's the part as well that people need to recognize and that doesn't get spoken about as well. Relationships that get ruined. Luckily, I was able to sort of salvage that back, recognizing where I should have had a lot more autonomy and just been like, do you know what, looking back, if those tunes came out, it wouldn't have affected anything.
You were so young at that point then. You've got a major label waving this carrot in front of you.
All I ever wanted.
I don't think anyone else would have done anything different to what you had done at that point. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But also, you've got to be able to put yourself in a position where you pursue your own growth. As much as it's about working with your friends and peers and stuff, there also comes a time where, especially when there's an opportunity to turn it into your primary source of income, where unfortunately, you do need to put, to a degree, what's going to benefit you long term from a business perspective. That kind of almost not has to come first, but it has to be as important. It has to be a priority. Working with the people you want to work with, like your peers and your friends and stuff, regardless of whether it's beneficial to do. Do you know what I mean? But there's you never have to sort of turn your back on people entirely from doing it. No. But those that obviously respond poorly to that, you're kind of like, well, is it a loss? I guess people essentially they're upset about the fact that you have been able to succeed doing what you're doing.
Yeah, literally. It's mainly like jealousy. They want a piece of what you've got. Like,
I mean, I won't throw the jealousy word into it, but like, there's
some resentment there. It's resentment.
Yeah, but it's also just at the end of the day, like they're not actively helping you benefit yourself, and if they are actively getting in the way of it, then worth.
I had a question just about because you said you were going to London 3 or 4 times a week. Do you think if you had moved to London, anything would have changed?
I think about that.
Yeah.
I think I would have been more stressed.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I think I would have been more stressed.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I could dip my toe in and just go back home and have a reset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in terms of if I think... I think I would have been more stressed, but I would have been around a lot more.
We've had people on here that did the move to London that was actually like maybe not transformative for them, but we've heard like both versions, right? Like people that moved to London to do it, people that have moved, like I guess different people, different experiences. But it was just something that popped in my head while we were talking about it.
I felt like I had to, for me, musically. I felt like it was the only way to make it happen. Like when I left uni, I was obviously like kind of, I was born in London anyway and live like 20 minutes north on a train most of my life. But like still, I felt like I had to be
in the mix.
Yeah. And I think it paid dividends for you and me before COVID. Like,
for sure.
Ruined the pie.
But it was what you were basically describing about in your time in Bristol and just meeting loads of people. That's basically what we had in London, right? It's just like, it's being out and networking, basically.
But also the fact that, like, Bristol, because it's like so much smaller, it's like more of a community. Like, even when I go to Bristol, like, you'll go to the pub and I'll just bump into like a drum and bass artist, like super easy.
That's
so
true.
that's it.
Geographically
That's
smaller.
Yeah.
Community-wise, definitely not smaller.
The stress you're talking about, like being in London, actually, you did kind of make me think about it differently, because how beneficial actually is it if you can't see the wood through the trees?
Yeah.
Because really, actually, in your position in Bristol, look how many people you met, and like there's definitely more community there, and it's easier to bump into people and like meet your peers, heroes, and like, you know, semi-famous or famous people. It's
I mean,
like
we did kind of have that
easier.
in London to a degree. It was basically like all you'd have to do is go to Ace Hotel on a Wednesday for Stolen Emotion, and you were going to cross path with people that were running the biggest record labels in London, and in drum and bass you were bumping into the next hottest producers that you'd never, like, you knew them, their tunes and their artist name, but you'd never met them before. And like, it was an opportunity, and like, I think we did have it. It's just it wasn't on every corner.
Yeah.
Whereas like in Bristol, genuinely,
It does feel like
you
it's
walk into your local pub
yeah.
and bump into someone that you know.
It's just interesting, even thinking about my uni experience when I was in Southampton, like the amount of people I hosted for, because I was like the Southampton MC. It's like, you know, D-Bridge come down, they're like, we're not booking an MC, we got Rich.
Yeah.
I host for D-Bridge, all of a sudden I got a Fabric booking. And it's like things like that. I do feel like it's actually really interesting. It's making me think quite a lot, because I do think you can get lost in the sea of London because everybody is here.
Yeah.
So actually being somewhere different, like, it, you know, London isn't the be all and end all, is actually what I think I'm thinking. And I think when I was young, I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a skewed viewpoint. I don't think it is that. I think if you play the right cards wherever you are, you can make your you can manifest what you want to
especially in
manifest.
2025. I think 10,
Yeah.
15 years ago, the physical presence of being able to be like in the same space as the people you're trying to network with carried a lot of weight. I think in this day and age, it's fucking irrelevant.
Yeah.
And if you think you need to move to London in order to sort of like make it in
What I would
music,
say
I
is-
would just say in 2025, you do not need to do that.
Well,
Nah.
well, the only thing I would say, just as maybe closing this point, is if you're trying to do the remote networking thing, your music better be really good.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah, oh, yeah.
It's so easy to DM people.
But I also,
do you know what I mean? Though, like you have to stand out some other way.
But
It has
also,
to be
I
Sift
think-
through all of that.
Yeah,
I
it
think
has to be
that
the
should be
music.
a fucking rule of thumb with drum and bass anyway.
but
Like, the music
I think-
should be good.
No, because when you meet
It shouldn't
someone,
be half-assed.
no,
like-
of course it should be. But when you meet people in person, you can also remember someone because they're like a really cool person. You know what I mean, you meet someone, you have a really good conversation. Like a lot of what you were saying about, you met this person, you got on really well, they were really nice. Like that's automatically going to make you want to carry on that conversation with that person. Whereas online, everyone's almost like a faceless profile.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. For me, it makes it just more easy to remember whose tunes to.
Yeah, and
like,
also true. There is.
skip.
Oh yeah, wow, okay, fair. I think you're going to say that.
Because if the tunes are still a bit poo,
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you may have been lovely.
No, nothing-
but it just makes it easier for me to remember to skip them next time they come through.
Nothing will over like beat just talent and like good music.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there is still
Yeah,
a value
you're
for
right,
me to meet people in person. I think.
Oh,
I still
100%,
but you know, it's not, as we've all said, it's not the be all and end all.
No.
Anyway,
I think my point was like, I got to a point where I was like, I felt like I was a big fish in a small pond in Southampton.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's time to be the small fish in the big pond.
in the biggest pond.
In the biggest
Yeah.
pond, yeah. And I'm now like, you've made me like look at it in a really interesting way that I think actually it's not as simple as that. Everyone needs to navigate their own journey and make their own decisions, and these decisions ain't easy. And I think you having that realization at that age to be like, London, I'm going to be stressed if I'm in London.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got my little hub back here where I've got community and I've got like good solid links that, you know, you're in cruise early with like Bugsy and like Joker, you know, you've got that there, and then you can just come and like do the like big boy record label one and then duck back home. That's actually like really like refreshing to hear, and like seems like it really like worked.
It was I was in a good crew, you know, and
yeah.
it was like a new hot label coming through. Black Butter came through around the same time. Obviously, they were a bit bigger, and are still going, which is sick. But you know, I didn't feel like I needed to be here because anything that I needed to be at, they were like, yo, this is going on. Come up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And I was,
yeah.
like I said, I was there 3 to 4 times a week anyway. You know, so like if there was anything worth going to, I was there. Bro, I ended up in like Damon Albarn's house.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
When he was Blur or Gorillaz?
No,
That was
Gorillas.
Gorillas, easy
Yeah,
Gorillas
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah. Which was
So I'm showing my age there, aren't I?
Yeah, nah, but Blur, Song 2, FIFA 98, come on. Yeah.
but yeah, there was a lot of mad situations, which was like, and I never felt like I was missing out. And I was like, yeah, I can easily do this escape to Bristol, back to home thing, you know, because I was still in a relationship at this point, early on, but actually the whole time pretty much.
Yeah, so you had your kind of base. Basically.
Yeah.
You had a really solid home base. Not to skip over anything, but just to bring this chapter to a close, because we've still got loads to talk about that I want to get into as well. How did this kind of chapter come to a conclusion then? Like how, you obviously did the major thing.
Yep.
You're obviously not in a major deal now. Something must have happened. How did that whole thing kind of come to an end?
Yeah. So after the last release I did, again with Julio Bashmore, strange actually, it was the first and the last release actually I did. It just wasn't, the tunes I was doing just wasn't really bringing anything. The scene was getting progressively more housey and less sort of like, you know,
Like
R&B
groovy.
and
Yeah, I remember that transition happening pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And it was sort of less about that and more about, you know, what's the big house tunes. And I guess I just wasn't delivering, if I'm being honest. I wasn't delivering and it just didn't make sense. And then I started to notice my management, they usually call me every single week. And then the calls started to get less frequent. And like I'd call, and again, the responses would get less frequent.
Just getting frozen out a little bit.
And I just said to myself, like, at this point, I'm 25, and I was like, I'm really in danger of becoming that shelved artist. So I said to them, I was like, look, I noticed that something's different here. Let's just call it a day. But let's just call it a day. A lot of people would have just thought, I've got a deal here.
I need to keep it going.
Let's just keep it going. You
That's
know?
brave, man. That is brave.
I just wasn't on it, bruv. I wasn't on it. I'm a person first, and I'm like, maybe sometimes I value respectfulness too much, you know what I mean? Especially where it's like, you know, when people say it's not personal, it's just business.
Yeah.
This whole business is personal, bro. It's all personal.
Yeah.
Especially the way they bring you in and like almost like groom you, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's all personal.
Yeah.
But I don't like that whole vibe where it's like, it's just business. It's not business.
But also, like, business is legitimately how I pay my rent and my food, and if I don't have those, I die.
Support
So
my
it's pretty
child.
fucking personal to me. If you can afford to have business not be personal, then you are in an incredibly privileged position. And give me a slice of that, because I'm not.
Yeah.
Soon come though, innit? 2026 for you.
Yeah, whole time, bro. I'm gonna do that collab with Julio Bashmore.
It's coming. Maybe get his number after this.
He is a game changer.
He seems to be putting people on. Yeah.
So around about that time.
So what year are we in at this
So
point?
this year,
2015, it sounds
we're
like.
2014, end of 2014.
Yeah.
All right,
So
and
I think I know like the next thing that's going to happen, right? Because I've been doing my research.
Okay.
Been doing my research, right?
So you're doing your computer.
Well,
I don't want to spoil it. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm interested. Yeah,
I don't want to get it wrong.
What I want to hear
carry
about
on.
is the in between. So I'm guessing the drum and bass chapter is next.
No.
Or is it not?
There's like 4 years, right, of a few
there's a- yeah,
high
there-
pro and
yeah,
more
yeah,
high
yeah,
profile
yeah,
features
yeah,
and
yeah.
bruv
Is this like the
collabs
Cohen
and stuff.
Sound
There's
era?
No,
No.
Oh wow.
No,
Okay, well
before that.
I'm gonna sit back and let you tell the story, bro.
Tell it,
All
bro.
right,
Tell it.
cool. So that's end of 2014, and as I was sort of coming towards the end of that, basically me and my management were speaking about getting me a publishing deal, right? Because it's another way of, you know, keeping in the industry and getting cuts and
It's the same management.
same management, but
Right.
coming towards the end of everything.
Like the record deal.
The record deal,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. they were like, I didn't really want to be a writer at that point. I wanted to do it later on down the line, but I was like, you know what, we are where we are. So yeah, let's do it. So there were a few people. I was gonna went for meetings with Warner and Fraser T. Smith. He was just setting up his publishing company. So this is long story short, I was the first signing to his publishing company, and Fraser T. Smith, he wrote Set Fire to the Rain with Adele, did Stormzy's album, Dave's album, Craig David's albums, and I was the first writer. And Craig David was literally the first person that was like, yo, this is me.
Yeah, man.
You know? So I signed with Fraser T. Smith. I think it was late. It was either late 2014, yeah, because it was December. I remember it was 2014 in December, and it was like instantly after I signed that deal, I didn't really have much comms with my management or label at that point, who I was still kind of signed. I was never actually signed to PMR. My contract at that point was with Virgin.
Yeah,
it started with Island, and then I re-signed with Virgin because Virgin were the people who were funding the label.
Yeah.
So I became a writer, and then it was writing for people rather than being written for or writing your own tunes. It's a completely different discipline.
Yeah.
I had to learn that. I was at the bottom of the pile again, and it was like I did loads of writing with people. There's a guy called JD Reed. Yeah.
Jordan, bad boy.
Yeah, sick. I did
Bad
some
boy.
sessions with him as well. And sessions with lots of people. Sasha Keeble, early sessions with Sasha Keeble, which is crazy.
Yeah.
See where she is now.
She's a bit massive now, yeah.
Yeah, man. And I just did every single week. I came back up again. I was up a little bit less, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, and writing lots. And this time I was instead of staying with my management, I was staying with people that I met through the label, I became really good friends with. And like I had like a bit of an advance, so that was like covering my transport up and back and forth to London and Bristol, and I went to writing camps. I went to LA for 2 weeks, and I tell you what, like them people out there, they're machines, man. They write songs. Obviously, people over here as well, but they write songs like it's like almost like it's a mechanical kind of procedure,
process, yeah.
like a process. It's not like let's just vibe it out. It's like
formula.
It's a formula. Yeah. It's a formula, and it's a formula I've never been a part of before. So it was almost like a baptism of fire. I'm in this writing camp with people that have had hits, Grammy nominated writers, and I'm just there, Javeon from Bristol, you know, who you know, I'm just trying to like get some cuts here, you know.
Yeah.
And I made some really good friends over there. And I also, when I came back from that trip, that 2-week writing trip, I was a different writer. Completely different writer. I understood writing in a completely different way. I looked at it like an art form rather than just scrambling around for an idea. I knew how to look for the idea and actually orchestrate a whole sort of piece a whole song together. Basically, it was. So I'm rambling a little bit here.
No, you're good.
Nah, keep going, bruv.
I learned a lot more about songwriting.
Like you leveled up.
I leveled up. That's what I'm trying to say. I leveled up. And then when I came back, there was an artist that Fraser introduced me to from Sweden, because he had a songwriting.
I'm bracing myself for another mad name right now.
Oh nah. The names get left.
It's like David Guetta or something.
No. Is this singer who was a backing singer for an artist that was making some headway over there in Sweden, and her manager was like, yo, I want her to just get in some sessions and become a songwriter. So her name was Janice, and she's still doing well at the moment, and we did songwriting in London, and then they paid for me to come out to Sweden, and
Sweden's a bit of a powerhouse when it comes to like pop. It's a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
The amount of like producers, songwriters, like is for people that don't know, Sweden's randomly like huge.
Yeah.
In that industry.
I mean, probably a standout moment, right, was in a subway, right? This is like probably completely different to what you might be expecting me to say right now. But I was in a subway with Janice, and I was getting my sandwich, and the people behind the till was like, "Do you want salt and pepper on that?" And I wasn't used to being in a subway and them asking me if I want salt and pepper. I was like, "This is mad! Like not being in Bristol is crazy."
Culture experience.
Yeah. But
No,
I met
I've made
loads
it.
of- what's that?
I know I've made it when I'm being offered salt and pepper.
On my sub. What? Yeah, so I did a few after like doing like a year going back and forth. I wrote about 8 songs out of 10 on her album.
Nice.
And one was like was in the top 3 most played songs on Swedish radio, which was great. And their award ceremony was called the Grammys. And her album was up for I think best album or something like that. Didn't win it, but the fact that it was nominated was great, knowing that I wrote 8 songs on that album.
Major contribution, yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's the first time that I written for somebody else and I was actually getting cuts, because she got signed to like a subsidiary of Universal in Sweden.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I'm a songwriter at this point, you know. I'm not writing songs for myself anymore. I'm a songwriter. And then I did that for about 3 or 4 years. And the mad thing about publishing, right, is my contract was like I had to fulfill 300%. And that didn't really make much sense to me at that point. But what it meant was a standard session, right? It would be me, the artist, and a producer, right? And maybe another writer as well, right? So it's 25, 25, 25. That 25% had to go up to 300, right? But it would only get the cut if it was signed to a major label. Whether it was in the UK or somewhere else. So I had loads of different cuts, but it never actually counted for because it never went through a major label.
Yeah.
So trying to get 300% when typically you're only walking away with 25%, it's mad, bro.
Yeah, it's like spread better now, isn't it?
Who's getting the money on just the publishing company, on the ones that don't make the major cut?
They get their cut either way.
Yeah.
You know, they get their cut either way.
Music industry is mad, isn't it?
was
man?
Cutthroat, man.
Yeah, and obviously my advance is running out. I'm, for the first time in about 5-6 years, I'm having to look for another part-time job now, and I'm steadily making my transition back to Bristol.
Yeah.
And my mind is absolutely blown. My world is blown apart because I've been up and now I'm down. I ain't really got no money at all, and like the cuts aren't really coming in like that, and I need a new game plan. And nobody that I was around could understand what I was going through. I felt so alone. It was so mad, like that I went through all of these highs and like curious to just feeling stuck and like tired. Like stuck and tired.
And you've given it all at this point.
Yeah.
This is actually mad. And I know you say it went up and down, but
Yeah.
it actually seems like it's been a bit like, sort of like all over the place, like up and down, like little highs here and there.
Yeah.
But like obviously like lots of plateaus along the way. And then you have this big one where you got a major label and then, publishing and then reality, I guess.
Exactly.
It's fucking tough, man.
And then round about that time as well, I got a random call from one of my friends who's a producer who was signed to PMR at the before when I was signed, called 2 Inch Punch. And he was like, yo, bro. I was like, what are you up to? I was like, oh, just at home. And he was like, one of the tunes, because we used to make tunes all the time. He goes, one of the tunes that we've worked on, I took some of the vocals and I'm in New York right now with Benny Blanco working on Tory Lanez' album. We used your vocals and the label love it and it's gonna get cut. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, really? I could have cried. I could have cried. So
it's like they sampled the vocal basically. Yeah?
they essentially sampled my vocal.
Didn't Tory Lanez do that with Submotion Orchestra vocal as well?
Yeah,
It was Tory Lanez, wasn't it?
so.
I think. Oh no, it wasn't Tory Lanez.
Was it not him?
It might have been Tory. Nah, Tory Lanez is the one that's in prison now, isn't it? The short guy.
Yeah.
It's another artist.
Is he not out now?
He might be out now. He might be out now.
Yeah.
By the time this episode comes out, he might be out. But yeah, that's mad though. That's crazy. Yeah.
So what year was that?
That was 2017, I think.
Oh, mad.
So that was almost like a little, just like, what's the word? Like a lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lifeline.
Yeah.
That was something I could put on my CV.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm on an album that was like a platinum selling album.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Mad.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just nuts.
But
Just what
again,
you needed at that time.
But
Really
again,
a
it's
little pick me up. Sound like it was. Yeah.
it's not luck though, man. Again,
Nah, it's
it's
not.
you being just staying in that creative zone and just doing stuff, man. Like you said, you made those tunes with 2-inch Punch,
You built a
and
mad.
that's led to this. Do you know what I mean?
Back to like that. Like you've built a mad foundation actually, and like I always waffle about that, innit? Like the TikTok generation. I feel like the ones like in D&B, just specifically using an example, there's always someone that can come along on like a new TikTok DJ or a new TikTok phenomenon that can like take your spot, and then you're just kind of like forgotten about if you're not like militantly on it. Obviously, don't get me wrong, some people that producing mad amounts of content and shit.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of like the older guard that have like obviously got that foundation there. A lot of the middle school in D&B, I'm just using D&B examples because it's my experience, and I feel like if you have that foundation, you'll always at least have something. Like something you might not have the big high, but at least you can continue doing something you like love.
It's sustainable
I think it's really important, and you built a mad foundation across like a multitude of genres, which is why I think what you're saying is like it's absolutely no wonder that saying random probably in a month's time might pop up from your foundation still and be like, oh, by the way, this is going on, or someone makes a success themselves or that is back on a hype and thinks, oh yeah, Javeon, like let me draft him on this,
or like someone does a bootleg of one of your old shit, like,
and that's
waiting for it.
You've got mad graft, and like that actually is like anyone listening, that rule number one. Like as long as you work hard, you'll get your just rewards in the end. Proven right there.
You got to enjoy it, whatever you're doing. You got to enjoy it. Obviously, there's that pressure there if you want to make it a career, and especially if you got a couple tunes out that are doing well, it turns into a completely different thing, and it's not just a hobby anymore. It's what you do. So naturally, you're gonna look at it differently, and the pressure comes, and then you stop enjoying it in the same way. Which is mad. So this is around, I think I said 2017. And around that time, I'm still signed to Fraser's label, 70 Hertz, and DJ Zinc got in contact with me through publishing. We had a session together at my old publisher's studio, and we did like a house tune together.
Kind of ironic that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You finally did the house thing.
I know.
But with Zinc.
But with Zinc.
He's doing the crack house stuff.
Yeah.
That Zinc here is mad.
It was funny because when I told people, I done a tune with DJ Zinc, it's like, oh yeah, D&B. I was like, no.
Nah, man.
I mean, I wish it was a D&B tune, because I knew him from D&B, obviously.
Of course,
I'd always go garage first with Zinc, oddly, just because.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that was he was garage before he was drum and bass. I don't know, like I'm probably wrong about that, but yeah, that's just my own story. Yeah,
I knew him through obviously through 138 track.
Yeah, running like
Ready or Not,
just Bingo. I mean, Bingo was a garage label.
Yeah,
predominantly. Yeah, crazy.
I gotta say as well, like, Bingo was very good at paying me as well. Like,
really?
like they're just on point with actually paying as well, which is great. I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Shout out Bingo, man.
Absolutely rated that. So we had a tune out around that time, and also around that time as well, I got a shout. So in my PMR days, I met Alex Perez, because Alex Perez had another sort of alias called Art 101.
I remember this Art 101 thing.
Yeah. It's that glitchy kind of halftime hip hop type stuff. And 2-inch Punch, who I mentioned before, that was his kind of world.
Yeah.
He loved it. So they did a lot of stuff together. So it wasn't Alex that hit me up, actually. It was Ben, 2-Inch Punch, was like, yo, do you know Alex Perez? He's doing this art one-on-one thing, and it'd be great for us to do a session. Did a session, nothing really came out of it, but he was always like, I would still love to do a tune one day. A couple of years later, it was 2017, I go to a studio somewhere south, and we made a hip-hop tune, which was really weird. I was like, okay, cool. And then a year later, no, this is 2016, sorry. And then a year later, in 2017, he hits me up, and he says, yo, I've just flipped this into a liquid drum and bass tune. And at this point, I've been around D&B my whole life, right? But I've never really connected with it because all I've been around, I've been going to Motion, so Jump Up is all I've been hearing, you know? I've not really had a moment where I've connected with anything soulful. And he sent me that, and I was like, yo.
Yeah, that was the light bulb.
I think I'm in.
Yeah.
Because
this also, just to say, this would have been probably his second release in 1985. This was when he just started in 85, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, that happened. I wasn't locked into D&B. I just done that one thing, and I continued doing my electronic R&B thing because I was really just trying to figure out what style of R&B that I'm doing after this house thing. I was trying to get back to my roots, you know? And then I think it was a couple years went past, and I think
that tune was Missing Pieces.
Missing Pieces,
right?
yeah.
Just to shout the tune out. Yeah. If anyone wants to listen to it, big tune, big tune.
And then I just wasn't locked into D&B. I'd have people that was in D&B hit me up every now and again. Oh, do you want to do a tune? And I'm like, nah, I'm not really in like that.
Yeah.
I was just focused on my R&B stuff, and I did that all the way up until 2019. Right, in 2019. I was working with a hip hop guy, producer. He was kind of like Jay Dilla kind of style, and his name was L Train.
Oh yeah,
and I did.
He did a remix of an Ivy Lab tune on that 2020 EP. That's how I know L Train. Yeah, big producer as well.
He was managed by Kier.
Yeah.
He was managed by Kier at Shogun, and I did a bunch of tunes with him. Again, I found a connection with a producer, so I just did loads of tunes with him. I was on his album. I think it was his second album, and on L Train's 2019 album launch. It was at Metropolis in London, and it was a live thing. So Harry Bryson was playing drums. That's the first time I met Harry, and I got talking to him, and he was telling me about he does drum and bass, and I was just like, great. A lot of my friends from Bristol into drum and bass. I've done a tune that I think did all right, and it was just really interesting talking to him. So we did the show at Metropolis, and I met Simone, Simone introduced me to Nikki and Megan from Hospital. And they were like, yo, we've got loads of producers that are looking for soulful vocalists like you. I'm like, all right, cool, man. I'm into anything soulful, really. Just send me whatever. And I was interested as well because they, I knew I get paid from it as well, which was great. And then we went into lockdown, and then the emails just kept coming, and it was a re-sing for them here. They sent me a Camo and Crooked tune that didn't really work out, but then they sent me a tune for Deggs' album that I featured on, a tune for Unglued, and at that same time, Shogun kept sending me bits to re-sing one of your tunes.
Yeah,
as well.
I was gonna say.
Your tunes. And it was just like I was in lockdown, and I was like, I'm still trying to do this R&B thing, but
you got work coming out your ears.
I've got a lot of love from D&B at the moment. These tunes are coming out. People are hitting me up telling they like it. And
one thing about drum and bass is once we find a vocalist that we like, we rinse that vocalist, as you experience.
And I was aware this was another moment. I was aware. So we're well into 2020 now, and I said to Kier, because Kier became my manager, and I said to him, do you know what? At the start of 2020, I said, all right, by the end of 2020, I want my fee to go from here to here. We got to the end and I was shy of 100 quid of where I want my goal to be. And I said, I'm very aware that I could get rinsed out and then I'm at the mercy of the industry.
Yeah.
And it goes down and down and down. Let me just separate the whole R&B thing where I'm struggling to make a whole, like, 'cause my thing was very niche in an already niche market. UK R&B is very niche, you know what I mean? Compared to the wider R&B sphere outside of the UK.
Yeah.
Why don't I just go where the love is, you know? So how about I just become an artist in my own right, you know? Because then I can retain my value. I'm actually really enjoying this. I actually really love and respect the genre. I'm just going to become an artist myself instead of just being a featured vocalist, you know, and being rinsed out by everybody, and where eventually I'll probably become forgotten about. But if I do this, then I've got more control over where my career is going to go, and I can enjoy it at the pace that I want to enjoy it at.
Yeah.
You know, and that was another moment that
It seems, just to pause you there, it feels like at every like different chapter you hit, there was like a decision to make, and it feels like we've not heard, there's obviously probably loads of stuff you haven't said because we haven't got forever to talk about it, but it feels like you kind of made, the way you made your decisions, it seems to have like been integrity first basically, and you kind of made this decision, not just like, obviously money's a one thing, but like, I don't know, it felt like you, sounds cheesy, but you tried to stay true to yourself in every decision that you've made, which is commendable, to be honest, man. Given, again, where you were and all the opportunities you had, even when you said you were leaving the major and you could have been a shelved artist, I think a lot of people would have tried to cling on to that deal, to be honest. So
I almost did. It wasn't an easy decision, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, at every like when I think back about it before speaking about it, I think the only big decisions I made was, you know, before going to Sheffield, you know, and then deciding to do D&B. But there was actually a lot, like
you said.
Quite a few of those moments where, I had to make difficult decisions, and I made it because I didn't want anybody writing my future for me.
Yeah,
essentially, that's what it was. And I'm really happy that I did that with D&B, because it doesn't matter how popular or unpopular that I get. This is a genre that I really love. I actually found my home, which is great. This is the first time that I could actually say, yo, I've actually got some fans. You know, I was, the other day, bro, I went for a trim, and I was walking down the road, and some guy turns around to me and then he goes, "Too late, now you're in trouble." I was like, this is mad. This has never happened to me before. This is crazy.
Yeah, that is mad, isn't it?
Got to give a shout out to the drum and bass community, because there's like,
they embrace people, man.
There's very few, if any, genre of music where the community is more welcoming.
They embrace,
than
man.
D&B.
Especially like, I remember with the same thing happened with Children of Zeus, man. Like, again, R&B artists did a couple of D&B tunes, and the way like the D&B community embraced them as artists as well. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Submotion Orchestra as well.
Submotion Orchestra. There's like a lot of artists who have kind of always been parallel to drum and bass, and you know, done bits in drum and bass, and
sonically involved, and like part of that community and stuff. And there's that sonic crossover, and it feels like everybody just goes, "Oh, that's not drum and bass," but it just feels so in with what we love about drum and bass, even though it's not. I love it when you get that.
It is nice when you get that, though, isn't it? I had a guy in my local co-op the other day come up to me and be like, "You Visionobi?" And I actually took his number. We're going to go for a beer. He like runs Lost Recordings.
Oh yeah,
a guy called James. He lives in Welling Garden City.
Nice.
That's super random. Obviously, he's an industry guy as well, but it's just funny, isn't it, when you're like, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Like when you're like sort of an underground artist like we are, but those moments, like, you know, you cherish them to a certain extent.
Like for a lot of the times, music can be very thankless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be very thankless, and just having those little nuggets.
Yeah.
Like they're just about enough to just keep you going and give you the faith. Like, you know what? I am pretty good at what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I need to just keep doing this, if not for myself, for other people that, you know, really enjoy what I do, and it gets them through their day. You know, I've had people that say that to me. I've been going through a really tough time. Your tunes help me through
That's always
it.
the mad one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's always the mad one.
And I hadn't had that before I come to D&B, you know?
Yeah.
All of my peers, like throughout the whole time, like through dubstep, Joker, Jemmy, Mensa, they would always tell me about those moments.
Mensa
and
as well.
Sorry,
I was just like listing off my heroes.
Yeah.
I think
the names are just dumb,
especially
bro.
as like a lyric writer, because I think like we live in like a predominantly like a producer's world a lot of the time. But that thing that thing you said about like people getting through their day, when you write deep, meaningful lyrics, you know that fucking hell, like that's actually like it's because of the words that I'm writing, like because a lot of the time it is like, you know,
Because of the snare, mate.
Joker, but you know what I mean, like more often than not it is lyric heavy like scene into, because we're in a dance music industry, you know, it's not a lyric heavy like scene, is it? So those little moments, it's like it makes it all worth it, doesn't it? Because you know that was it.
I do envy that a little bit from time to time, to be honest with you. Like the fact that what me and Harry do when we create what we create, there isn't a way for us to really express what we maybe want to express. It's more an emotive and a feeling and a sort of state of, I don't know, a state.
That works
but we
vice
can't,
versa, though.
Yeah,
I was just about to say that.
you were sat there being like, sometimes
yeah.
I wish I could be just a bit more vague and not have to be so
you're creating
on the
a
nose.
whole feeling, bro. Like something that you can't even put words to, but it speaks to people's souls quite literally.
I think it's more like you know what it is?
Mad.
It's like I think the music is more like the painting, and the lyrics is more like the story. If in a weird way, do you know what I mean? Like it's not quite a perfect metaphor, but do you get what I'm saying?
It's like a book. It's like a picture book.
Yeah. It's more of like a scenery. The music, it's more like and you can kind of understand the feeling from that. But it's two different ways of expressing.
It's probably a good thing that I can't like put words to my art, because
you know what?
I would just be so political, bro. I'd just piss everybody off and ruin it all.
Ours is more obvious. We're making it easier for that person to connect with the words.
Yeah.
Yours is kind of like that.
More abstract.
But
more abstract.
Just take the drugs and enjoy it. Just do it all. Just.
I think that is with music.
That's to ruin the romance.
Mate, that's the beauty of it. Just get shroomy in your living room and put that album on and just have a great time.
Have you been up to shroom? Have you been shrooming this weekend?
I have not.
It's a couple of references.
One thing I will say though is like, as someone who has tried to write lyrics to like you know, like because we use a lot of vocal samples and stuff, and you don't always have access to a vocalist. Like I've tried to like do it myself. It's a whole different skill set, man. As I'm sure
you're a freestyle.
Obviously, catch me at 5 a.m. in my living room. I've got bars for days, but like when I need to actually do it, it's so hard, man. Like it's so hard. It's a whole different
It's
skill.
hard to be disciplined, you know. The creative stuff, you know, once you're trying to put a structure to it. And it becomes really difficult.
I find that very hard. Hence why I'm like super niche. I just want to ramble for like ages and tell like the story really. What?
I said we know.
Exactly. But it is tough. I think there's a skill to that really, you know, I've said it a few times in the podcast, I've simplified the thing a little bit recently. But I don't want to do what I feel like I came here to be this guy and be the confusing, over waffly, deep, intricate lyric guy. But I've stripped it back a little bit just to make it a little bit more user friendly on a few ones I've done recently.
And to be honest, I actually think as well with any skill, there is another skill in kind of what's the word, like condensing down, or like, not condensing down is the wrong phrase. Like distilling the process and anything you do. And I think that in itself is a skill. So like music writing for me and Tom's a good example. Like we used to like we still do it in some tunes, but like it's harder, to make a song sound really, really good with less elements. And I think you could probably apply the same thing to songwriting as well, right? Because it's really easy as a producer just to throw loads of sounds at something, have 100 channels with pads and like, do you know what I mean? To make the sound feel fuller. The best producers, in my opinion, can do that with like 4 things. So I would say there's always, just to go back to your point about like simplifying the thing. I think that in itself is a skill.
100%.
To deliver what you want to say still, but in like less words or like less metaphors or just like really more straightforward like punchlines or whatever.
Yeah.
That in itself is a skill.
I mean, the same way that writing really complex like bars is a skill.
Yeah,
it's like both ways work.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just like one is gonna have more commercial appeal and has more like likelihood of being successful because it's not going over everyone's fucking head.
But what I'm saying is, but that shouldn't be why you do it though. You should do it because it's like kind of a string to a bow.
100%. Yeah.
I got a question for you, Jay.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I don't think Jon will take offence to it, but out of all of the producers you've ever worked with, who has been your favourite one to work with?
That's actually a question that we had from the crowd.
Oh, really? Okay. It was just genuinely one that I'm interested in. And like, it's not to be like because they wrote my favourite tune.
Offence to that.
Because it's inevitably not going to be you.
Alex Perez,
it's not going to be you. It's not going to be you.
That's
not going to be
fine.
you.
He's one of the better artists than me.
You lot man done a tune together.
Yeah, a couple. The Marquee.
I
actually think
the Trouble tune was the Marquee.
I actually think, apart from the Perez tune, I actually think that Trouble was your first drum and bass tune you wrote and released after the Perez one. From what I could see on Spotify, because it came out in 2020, but it came out in like
2020. Yeah.
In fact, I actually think Trouble came out in like October or November of 2019.
So maybe
that tune? That's
I've got
mad.
the tune with Degs, and I think that was
crazy.
I think that was
Because that album came out in the middle of 2020, that one, didn't it?
Yeah, so it was around the same time. But in terms of like full vocal feature, I think that was like my first main tune after. It was almost like that was almost like my introduction.
Yeah.
And that tune was the first tune actually that I was actually able to bring my R&B self to a drum and bass track. Also write a little bit more introspectively as well, to be a little bit more clever in my lyrics, and just everything just fit, and I was happy. Before I even sent it back to Harry, I was like, I'm really happy with this. I'm prepared, obviously, to dismantle it, you know, if the feedback comes back and we need to change things. But I'm actually really, really happy with the track. And that's the first time that I wrote a song over drum and bass that I was like, I'm actually really, really happy with, actually. But in terms of like when you say like my favorite producer to write with, do you mean in drum and bass or just in general?
I mean, I was thinking more drum and bass, but then it's open to you, mate. I mean, who have you?
Maybe one from each.
Okay, from drum and bass, I think it's between you guys and Operate, really, because me and Operate started, I guess, I felt like we linked up in lockdown, and we were trying, it was that same partnership that I've had with people before, like Guido and Emanike and 2 Inch Punch. It was that same thing, and I recognized that. I'm like, we got to keep going. Get something good. And we gel really, really nicely.
And Dom plays your live sets as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. He plays my live sets, and we just get on really, really well as people, and creatively we just gel really well together.
I think he's a G, man.
He's probably like one of my favorite collaborators. Outside of drum and bass, before that, I think my favorite producer was 2 Inch Punch, actually. Again, I got on with him like a house on fire. I still do. And creatively, we just work very well together, or we have worked very well together.
Yeah. Nice. So I guess coming out of 2020 then, like the Javeon project's almost reborn, if you like, and it's launched into D&B. And then from there, I mean, you've done a lot of collaborations. I mean, you've just had one come out, what, is it out now, the similar one? That's out, isn't it? Yeah, you've just done a similar one, like coming right up to 2025. Not to kind of glaze over those middle years of 2022, but I do want to talk about the kind of next chapter for you, which is this label that you started. And this will be probably after the night's happened. So you're doing your launch night, which we've been pressing.
Putting this night together, my first headline show, because I've been again, it's just the recognition that, you know, you get put on a lineup with like 15 other people, and it's hard to build a community when you're music is a little bit more niche than everybody else, you know, so it's a little bit more difficult, especially when you recognize who your demographic is, and maybe they're in bed by the time I'm playing, you know, they're 100% in bed by the time I'm playing, you know. So it was like, you know what, okay, I want to do this thing like Kino's doing at the moment, you know. He recognizes that, you know, his thing, he wasn't being booked to do exactly what he was doing, the orchestral D&B thing. He was creating his own nights and creating his own community, doing early venue, like early times for the shows and stuff like that. And I was thinking about that anyway, but actually seeing that and playing at one of his events actually spurred me on to go down that route of just...
Technomatic did it really well as well.
Yes.
They've been doing it really well as well.
Yeah.
Similar thing. Like, knowing your audience is such a powerful thing as an artist, man.
I think it's...
And a lot, it's actually quite a big topic at the moment. I know Jack Worth has been speaking about it a lot. The whole idea of cultivating the community, which it sounds like is what you're taking a step to do now.
Absolutely, man, because I realize as well that I'm an R&B artist at heart, and I've noticed that the more R&B leaning liquid that I make, some stuff that I've done with Sattel as well. I've
Done a lot of good tunes with Sattel. A lot that haven't come out yet, by the way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That 2006 tune.
Thank you, bro.
Bad.
I was saying to Jack before, you know, there's people playing it like Enei that I just didn't expect to play it.
Yeah.
You know?
Good music, again, just D&B, man. Good music just translates, man.
Yeah.
It just translates.
Yeah.
If the tunes, if it's good enough, you'll get played from all corners of the scene, man.
And I hadn't had that before.
Yeah.
You know? So going to Hospitality on the Beach this time round was crazy for me because everybody's playing my tunes. On one side of the things, it's that 2006 tune with Sattel. On the other side is the tune with Hoax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Absolute banger as well, that tune, by the way.
Thank you, man. So I'm just finding myself a little bit more. And
Hey, you played that at Boomtown, didn't you, that tune?
Yeah.
I just
Thank
remembered.
you, bro.
Every set I'm playing at the moment.
I appreciate you, man.
It's a banger.
Thank you. So yeah, this has made me want to dig a little bit more deeper. So I've started, I don't like to call it a label, because, you know, I'm not pressing physicals, and I'm occupying a digital space, and it's just my music that I'm looking to put out. Nobody else really. It's just a recognition that I want to build my community, and I need an output. So I need an outlet for that, so they can, you know, access that style of music straight away and not wait for another label to be, to be into it. You know, massive respect to all the labels that I work with, but it's come the time that I got to do my own thing. I still want to work with the labels that
There's space for both, man. There's space for both.
Yeah, space for both, and it's just recognizing that. And I think the sooner that we can have honest conversations with ourselves, I think the happier we might eventually be, the quicker we might be happier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's definitely been my experience with trying to be happy, because I always ask myself questions, you know, why am I feeling upset? Why is it feeling stagnated? Something needs to change. Let me try and recognize that. I think that's that. Let's try and change it and just be brave with our decisions, or with my decisions.
Yeah. That's a really nice mantra, man.
That's smart.
Yeah, the way you put that as well.
Yeah. I don't like being upset, bro.
Yeah,
I'm a happy guy, you know me, man.
It sounds simple, but I feel like so many people miss that, man. Like, that has to be at the root of everything we do.
Yeah.
It really does. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Definitely, man. So yeah, I started my imprint.
Has it got a name?
Drums and Keys.
Nice.
I'm actually wearing a t-shirt right now. But,
Nice.
You know,
On sale soon?
only on sale at the shows, actually.
Nice.
Limited run. Yeah, I haven't actually announced it yet, but I'm doing a limited run of beer as well.
Yeah, you told me about this, actually. I forgot.
Yeah.
At hospitality, I think you told me about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
World exclusive.
Yeah, man. I'm
Not by the time it comes out, it won't be.
Yeah.
No.
There was actually, I wanted to ask you about the brewing thing you do on the side. There's a few other things I wanted to ask you about, but yeah, maybe just touch on that very, very quickly.
Yeah, man. So the things that I really like, I kind of nerd out. And I really liked the home brewing side of beer. I've done a bunch of batches myself at home, and spoken to local breweries and stuff and gotten feedback from the stuff that I do. I haven't done it in a little while, but I wanted to get back to it. And I was like, look, I'm doing my own show. T-shirts is one way that I can sell merch to my fans. Another thing that I can do that other people aren't doing is sell my own beer, put my own label on it, you know? And yeah, that I'm trying to use all the different skills that I have and trying to bring it all into one place instead of just being like, I'm good at that, I'm good at that, I'm good at that. Let's just have it all in the same space. If I can.
Yeah.
Love it.
Super smart, man. And you've got a release. Let's say it's probably out now.
Let's
talk about the first release.
First release is a song called Broken Windows, out on drums and keys, produced by yourself, my guy.
That's how you knew. I was like, how do you just know all this insider
I literally
info?
finished it last night.
Yeah, man. It was actually like, it was an older idea.
Super old idea.
Yeah, and then we went back to it, and I'm like, John, I want to get this out in like a month. And he's like, I don't like the production. I want to redo it. I was like, don't scare me like that.
You know what it was, yeah? I'm not joking. This idea was like 4 years old or something. So you know when you've just gone through 4 years of writing music and you just learned loads of new skills?
Yeah.
I was just like, we can just write this again, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I scared you a bit.
Yeah, I was scared. I was like, this ain't going to happen. I got to pick another tune.
Yeah.
I bet it only took you like 4 hours to like...
It took me
to already make it 3 times better production-wise than you knew it was.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, we had just... Oh, is it going to be announced yet? We had just finished our last project, and so I needed something new to write anyway.
Yeah.
So I was just like, this is a perfect opportunity.
And it was perfect. It featured the vocals of Mancunian vocalist Connie. She's amazing.
Oh, I know
You follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, I know Connie. She's sick.
Yeah,
really
good voice. You know what's? I didn't know she was, because you know when you only hear someone sing, you don't hear their speaking voice.
Yeah.
So when she sent that voice note to the group, I was like, a bit of a jump scare. I was like, where's this accent come from? Like, sick voice though.
She's
sick
Spanish.
She's from Gibraltar.
Is she fucking from Gibraltar?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna have to have conversations with Connie. Sorry, Connie. Because my wife's from Gibraltar. So there you go. Yeah. Every time I find out someone's from Gibraltar, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Story time.
But it's called Broken Windows, and it's out now.
Yeah, let's say it's out now.
Yeah.
What's the date, just so everybody knows?
We're going for the 3rd of October.
Okay, yeah. So if it's past the 3rd of October, it's gonna just
it's out. It's out now.
It's out.
It's out now.
We've got to get better at this. Yeah. It's out now. Yeah.
Yeah, we do need to have a better turnaround.
Or just like figuring out when to announce. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Very exciting. And
Really excited.
Is there a plan for an album in the future?
What I really want to do is the next project. So to answer your question, I do want to do an album at one point, but the next thing that I want to do, I want to go into another project, but I want to really dig into the soulful side of things. I want to work
Drum and bass still?
Drum and bass, yeah.
Because I was going to ask actually just quickly, there was the J Fields project.
Yeah.
Is that shelved? Is that...
It's kind of shelved because my heart's here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I love the J Field stuff. I'm just not there at the moment, you know.
Because Harry was involved with the J Field stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, very heavily involved in J Field's my R&B project stuff. And I probably will go back and do another project at some point. We can link up, do some stuff.
I'm down, man.
Right.
I'm down.
Okay,
Yeah.
But yeah, so for now, I'm just gonna focus on the drums and key stuff. The next project I want to do, I want to work with a choir, man. I want to work with the choir. I've got a couple of links, and
I feel bad for the producer that's got to mix that down. That sounds awesome, though.
Yeah, not my area to worry about.
Yeah. I was just thinking about how much I was like getting in my head about you and Connie's vocals, and I was like, whole choirs. Yeah.
That's what I really want to do, and really dig into the soulful, the more gospel R&B sort of side, and just dig a little deeper.
It's interesting actually, because I've stumbled across like so many sick gospel samples that every time I hear them, I think it would sound better in another genre that's not drum and bass. I personally have not found a way to make that happen, so I'm very excited for someone to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think... Can you think of any choir gospel-based D&B tunes off the top of your head? I can't.
Hugh Hardy did something on one of it on his Juicebox album.
Okay.
I think it was like a 3-piece. I think, but I want to I want more.
You want to go?
I want more people. Obviously,
Yeah.
that kind of thing ain't cheap. So
Yeah.
there's some figuring out there on how I achieve that. But yeah, I've got some ideas of the producers I want to work with, and that's like my next sort of like passion project. But I really feel like that will really let people understand what I'm capable of outside of, you know, the tracks that I've been doing at the moment.
Yeah. Amazing.
Bristol-based community choirs, get in touch.
Get in touch.
Yeah.
I did
That's how you
want
do it, mate.
So
That's how you do it.
before we jump to the crowd questions or the fan questions, because it's funny you said community, because one thing I did want to touch upon was the fact that you are heavily involved in a lot of community work as well.
Yeah.
And I know it's very important to you. So I did want to give you a bit of a space to talk about some of that as well.
Yeah. So I do a couple of things in this space. So I started as a youth worker, working with young people from, you know, disadvantaged backgrounds, some really, really dark stuff. And then I just kind of wanted to, unfortunately, I lost a few people, and I wanted to fuse my love for getting people into education and employment with music. So I work for Team Love, who I mentioned earlier, who do Love Saves the Day, Forwards Festival, and Silver Haze in Glastonbury. And basically my role is support and development. So we work with 18 to 30-year-olds from underrepresented backgrounds. So that's global majority, the traveller community, non-binary, and all the underrepresented backgrounds, you know, from 18 to 30-year-olds, getting them jobs in the festival industry. So bring them on, and then also I speak to them about what they want to get, you know, where they want to focus, and I look to get them jobs and then develop them. We've got a couple of managers already, which is great. I've only been there for about 2 years, so it's really, really great. I'm doing the well-being stuff with them as well, giving them training, also getting other festival employers involved, and I'm basically like Festival Ofsted. And it's really great work. I also run a music centre for the Bristol Beacon for younger ages. It's like school ages, like 12 to 18, and we've got DJ classes, vocal classes, being singing and rapping. We've got a band group and a production group as well, and it's like the halfway point between an open access community centre and like a music college, basically, because we do like we'll do like a week plan term. We'll do a plan for the term, each term. It's fairly loose, but they've got something that they can learn every single term, basically. So that's
awesome, man.
Work I do outside of music. That's very, very fulfilling for me.
And your dad. There's just so many things.
And I'm my dad of two kids, two beautiful
you find the
kids.
time to do it all, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's mad.
that's mad. Yeah, I'm on it early tomorrow, man.
Yeah. Okay, we won't hold you for too long. We've got some questions for some fans and some artists and some DJs.
Yeah,
Just wanted to get through these before we close out, because I think it's always a nice way to close, a little lighthearted. So Pete, who runs Overview Records, Overview Music. Overview
Music, isn't it?
Music it is.
Overview Music. Sorry, Pete. He just said top 3 favorite singers of all time and why. It's a big question.
Usher.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah, because Don.
Yeah.
Absolute Don. Frank Ocean. And
Where is Frank, by the way? I'll tell you where he's been recently. Croydon. You see his Instagram? Bro, he posted an Instagram story from Croydon like 2 weeks ago.
of course he was.
He's just in Croydon.
Isn't this what he does though? He writes some music and releases it, then he literally disappears off the face of the earth for 4 years.
Well, he hasn't released any music in like years, but he just cuts
I swear,
about.
like he literally just disappears, and then he like just teases that he's in the most crazy
Random
obscure
places,
parts of the world, like
Yeah.
for a day,
Yeah.
like Croydon.
Frank Ocean in Croydon. Yeah.
So Frank Ocean and who would be your
Usher,
third?
Frank Ocean, and I don't want to cop out and say Beyonce, but she's incredible.
That's not a cop out.
It's not a cop out. That's fair. What are your thoughts on Brent Fires? Because I feel like the D&B community has a weird not a weird obsession, but we do have an obsession with Brent Fires, and I get it. his sound is so liquid D&B, it's mad.
So I reference, like, there are a few people that I reference before going to write a song and like, in D&B, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
He's one of them. Like, actually, I reference him writing 2006.
Okay. I can hear that.
Yeah,
I can hear that.
Because I wanted to write an original song that was like a bootleg.
It's weird, yeah. I don't know if Brent Fowles even knows what liquid drum and bass is, but like it's like whoever his producer is, and his voice is like the perfect sound for liquid.
Really
it's
is.
so mad, man. Yeah,
It really is.
Yeah. One day someone should just play him all the bootlegs that happened to his chains. See what his reaction is. Ruben, have you done a tune with Ruben before?
Yeah,
you haven't. Yeah. He said, if you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, what album would it be?
These are better questions than we usually ask.
Yeah, they came through, man.
That's a tough one.
Just go with your gut, man.
Craig David, Born to Do It. Let's go.
Come on. Yeah, it's a seminal album, to be fair.
Yeah, laugh at me. It's fine. It's fine. Laugh at me.
I just wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I really wasn't.
Like, he was my idol coming home from school every day.
Yeah,
I get that.
Singing
Yeah,
it
man.
7 days.
And Ruben also asked, where would you move if the Russians invaded?
Ooh.
Back to the normal standard of the questions.
There we go.
Where else have they invaded?
Yeah.
God. Where would I go? Probably Sweden. I love it there.
Yeah, fairs. I feel like Sweden's a safe bet. Slater, Connor, always comes with the bangers. He asked, what is your favourite tog count for a duvet? So there's like 4.5, 7. I think there's 10, 13. There's some other ones that are way too warm for me.
What?
You know what a tog count is?
Do you like it thick? Do you like
How
a thick?
thick do you like your duvet?
I
So
mean,
4's like the
really,
thinnest.
Really, we
I
should all
didn't
be
realise we
aiming
all
two.
knew the numbers here.
Yeah, I bought a duvet like very recently.
I was going to ask you what they were.
Yeah.
I'm
fair
like
play.
a middle, just
Yeah, it's
middle
like
everything,
7.5
innit?
to 10.
Not too fluffy and big, but not
Well,
too
the question's
thin
not for
and
you,
shit.
bro. Question's
Sorry,
for Jay.
No,
You know what? I like it for different parts of the night, right? So the start of the night, we're getting cozy, that 10 straight away.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
If you run hot,
it's
though, innit?
unreasonable.
Yeah.
It's an unreasonable tog count to have. So maybe around a 7.
Yeah, I'm a 7 guy. I run hot, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean run hot? Isn't that like...
As in, I get hot.
Yeah, but 7's quite a lot.
Nah, this is the second lowest one. 4 is the lowest one.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very
4's the last one.
tired, very hungry, and a bit stoned, and this just feels like such a fever dream conversation I'm witnessing right now. I've never even. What the fuck is it? Is it tog?
Tog.
Yeah. That's
How do you all know
Like I
this?
said, I bought, mate. I bought.
No,
I know, but it's not. You're not. No, it's not. I'm sorry. You're not
buying your duvet.
No, I'm sorry. No, but even my wife doesn't understand this. I promise you.
I bet Helen knows about tog counts.
I guarantee
bet Helen
you.
knows
she
about
does.
tog
I
counts.
want to hear about that later.
Yeah, we'll ask her.
You'll notice now, man.
Now I know. Yeah.
Before my
Oh, God.
partner, I'd have 2. I'd have a winter one and a summer one because I can't do the big one in the summer.
No, you just,
I love
you just take the sheet off the cover off the duvet, and you put the duvet in the wardrobe and you just sleep the sheet, in the summer.
Nah, that's mental.
What?
That's mental.
That's literally what they do in like Mediterranean
bro.
countries.
Yeah,
That's like
we live in
Greece,
England, bro.
Italy,
Yeah.
Turkey,
And
we're in the UK.
For those
fam.
3 weeks of summer we get when it's just mad hot.
I just had the fan on, personally.
Yeah, same.
No, I have the fan on
I
as
just don't
well.
have a sheet. What's the point of having? And you just
Yeah, I don't do
sleep
the
with
whole.
nothing.
Do you do the sheet thing? I don't do the under
I
sheet.
don't nothing.
No, I don't do that.
On the
No.
bed.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Like, why do you want a sheet?
No, I don't have. No,
Sorry,
I
That
What she's in your
got
room?
more of a reaction.
duvet cover.
with that
Duvet
question.
cover is what I mean. I take the duvet cover off the duvet and
just
we
sleep
put
under the duvet cover.
Yeah, and we just have the duvet cover.
Interesting.
You say
That's
that,
what I
but
mean.
that's rubbish because Slater's questions always end up.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
Connor
they're
always just finds a way to.
They're
Yeah.
so weird.
They actually always are really
They're
divisive
great.
questions
Yeah.
as well. Like,
He's a great
they seem
question
really
asker.
obvious, and
We
then
need
you
to get
think
one
about it for more
podcast.
than 5
It'd be
seconds.
mental. We'll get Connor on. It'll just be a mental podcast.
Yeah,
We'll get him to ghostwrite our questions.
for his own episode. Yeah.
All right, Wings was asking, and the context for his question is because producers always complain about how long vocalists can be. His question was, who's the longest producer you've worked with?
Oh, the longest.
Is it me?
No, you're pretty quick to be
Okay,
fair.
that's good. That's good to know.
Pretty quick.
Is it Harry?
Harry, yeah, he's up there.
I was going to say, yeah, he's really bad at just responding sometimes to people.
Yeah.
Like, it's
He's quick and he's long at the same time.
Yes, that's it. When you get him, he's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But
You've got to catch him in the moment.
catch him at the
Yeah,
right time,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's not very often.
Yeah, fair. Unless you text him about Liverpool, then he'll reply.
I'm actually
instantly.
going to start trying that. I'm just
Honestly,
going to start texting him about the
with football
latest
text,
game.
Yeah.
and then he'll reply immediately.
So
Yeah,
Dom's been getting quite long as well, but what I do is I just send him super bad quotes, right, and he gets back to me straight away.
So you got to
like,
find
while
the,
I got you.
You got to find the hook in it.
Yeah. You got to find the
This is also, by the way, this is like our technique for knowing how our friends actually listen to our podcast. We slag them off at the end of the episodes, and then we'll know if they actually come and have a go at us in a week's time. Then we know that they listened.
Yeah.
Which is how we know that you don't listen to every single episode, Jake. Because no, I'm joking. We haven't slagged you off at any given
No, we can never slag you off, man.
Probably too nice to even say anything, so I know. I'm here anyway.
Well, I just turn up anyway. Yeah.
All right, Ruth Royal said, big up, you're a Don.
Oh.
Also, how do you find balancing the music career and dad life?
I find it really difficult. Really difficult. I've been this is the longest that I've ever been, because I'm quite quick at delivering vocals and stuff to people, but this is the longest I've ever been, because I only really get 1.5 days at studio and in studio time. But over the summer, my daughter's been off school, I've had to change that day. So, and my list is still growing, and I'm finding it really difficult to get through things. Also do this show as well, just putting on a show on your own, it's mad, bro. It's mad. Obviously I knew how much went into it before, but doing it yourself and having a part-time job, having a music career, having kids is it's almost an impossible combination, but you make it work. So I don't really know how I answer that question. I find it really difficult, but I love all of the things that I do, so I find a way to make it work. I always say when people obviously I haven't got kids, but people always ask me, because I have a full-time job, everyone's like, how do you do both? And I just say, you make time for the things you actually want to do. Yeah.
I think it actually is as simple as that. If you actually want to do it, you'll find a way to do it, basically.
Exactly.
It really, I think can be that simple.
Definitely. Especially when you have good moments where, a tune does well and you have a PRS statement that's pretty good, and you're like, oh, great, take my family out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go on a little holiday, which is really, really nice, when that Tory Lanez check came in.
I was going to say, you must have some mad PRS statements.
That was a nice one. That was the nicest one I ever received. Holiday, straight away.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
That's sick, man. All right, last one. Ken.Dean asked, what was it like working with Cohen Sound? Yeah, we didn't talk about the Cohen Sound collab.
Yeah.
That's a bad boy tune as well.
Such a sick tune.
Yeah, bad boy tune.
I went to school with Will in Cohen Sound. His brother was
Bro, does everyone just come from the 2 square miles of where you're from in Bristol, bro? Mad. Yeah.
It's mad. So yeah, we made music together. We were in school, and he played guitar, Will's brother. And when we left school, he started making dubstep. And then I was completely forgot about this one. We were in a group called Statics, and they had quite a big tune called Mind Over Matter. Marion Hobbs Scream was playing it, and I was hosting with them. And then around that time, Cohen Sound started making tunes as well, and there was probably about 5 of them at the time. Bro, they were
in the group?
In the group, bro. All 5 of them would turn up and DJ.
That's mad.
It was crazy, bro. And then obviously there was 2 of them, and I'd always say something, I'd love to make some tunes together, and just didn't happen. That just tends to happen.
Timing's everything, man. Yeah.
Exactly. And then they sent me a tune, I think it was around lockdown times, before or just after, I think. And they sent me a tune, and I liked it. It was cool. But I said, do you have any other tunes by any chance? And he said, there's another singer that we're working with, and we've got a tune for her. And I was like, can I hear it? And I was like, I heard it, and I loved it, and I wrote something straight away, and I recorded. I was like, I know it's someone else, but check this out. And they loved it, and I was grounded. And yeah, I'm just so that's what I do. Whenever a producer sends me a tune, I'm like, have you got anything else? Because you never know what's gonna come. And there's been a few times now where that other tune
It's been the one.
was the one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that happened in that situation. And people just really liked the tune, and it went really, really well.
It was on one of the albums, wasn't it?
No, it was EP.
Was it not? Oh, it was EP,
it was like a 4-tracker. Yeah.
It's like the lead track from that, wasn't it? Because it didn't have a music video as well.
Yeah, the music video. Yeah,
Such a banger, that tune.
Yeah. And also, coincided, I actually met one of them. I can't remember if it was Will or the other guy. When we played at Submersion last year, they were playing.
Were they?
Yeah, we were on the bus with, I don't think you were on the bus, but I was on the bus with him, Alex and Lawrence.
This was the next day when I was trying to fly to Phoenix and
Yeah.
actually just sat on a plane all day and then came back to the hotel.
I remember like there was just like, you know when like you're on a transfer, you don't, like everyone apart from like one or two people, and it was just this guy just sat in the back really quiet, and I just noticed he hadn't said anything. I was like, oh hey man, nice to meet you, and then he's just like, yeah, okay. I think he lives in America now, or Canada maybe.
Okay, so that would be
the other
Jim.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, super nice guy, man.
Yeah, they're both really nice and quiet.
Yeah, super quiet. I was just like,
yeah.
and he was like, yeah, I'm coinciding. I was like, mate, that's mad, because you just not expecting it, but yeah,
Crazy,
sick. Well, that was the last question.
All right.
Glad we extended this, by the way. So if we don't need to go into detail, but we had a team meeting, decided we needed to keep going because I'm sure the listeners, everyone who's watched this or has listened would agree it's been an incredible episode. Jay, your story is nuts. I'm glad you went into that level of detail. Like, it really is an insane journey.
You said at the beginning, you were like, it's thick.
Yeah.
About halfway through, I was thinking, fucking hell, you weren't lying, was it?
Yeah, honestly, man.
Yeah, it's a thick story.
Yeah, but this is what we like to do here, man. I just think it's really important for people to understand, like, the journey that everyone's been on, and also just for people who are getting into music making, understanding that sometimes things might seem that they happen quickly, but they really, in most cases, they don't.
It's not linear. It's not a linear path.
Nah.
Linear is the right word. It's not linear.
I think you're basically a perfect example of that. And I'm also really glad that you found your home in drum and bass, because now we get to listen to all these lovely tunes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I mean, good luck with the label.
Thank you.
Obviously, hit me up if you ever need anything.
Yeah, always do.
Always here to help. And yeah, we really enjoyed this episode, man. Really enjoyed having you down. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Big love, man. Big love.
Actually, we didn't do the shameless plug, but I feel like we did do the shameless plug. I didn't announce it, but we've done the shameless plug. But if there's anything else that you've got coming out you want to talk about very quickly, or just all eyes on the label, basically.
All eyes on drums and keys.
Drums and keys.
And the events.
There we go. All right, man. Perfect.
Safe.
Signing out.